Hello, YouTube. We're live. Welcome to my channel, Marriage, Politics, and Sports. Yeah, and I have a political one for you. It's a divestment from the Democrat Party, number 19. And this one is where the Democrats have drawn first blood using lawfare in such a dramatic way in New York State that I think our republic will never be the same. It's like once the toothpaste, what's the saying? When the toothpaste is out of the whatever, the tube, you can't put it back. Um, the genie's out of the bottle, right? The genie doesn't want to go back. And in the immortal words of the movie Clash of the Titans, the Democrats have released the Kraken, using the DOJ to destroy their political enemies. And it's so short sighted because, and here's one of the problems I really have, but is because the hatred of Donald Trump goes so deep, and with the the thought process that our republic will fall apart if he's president. We already have 4 years of knowing that it won't. Regardless of whether you blame him for January 6th or not, the republic stands. We've had very turbulent times before. You know what I'm saying? And so one man is not going to topple the government. But what can topple our government is using the Department of Justice at any level to destroy your political enemies uh, with no holds barred. Taking a misdemeanor and trying to morph it into a felony, which they did in New York State, or uh, getting a guy civilly liable for calling a woman a liar in public after she called him a sexual assaulter. He has the right to defend himself in public. You can't give somebody $81 million because he called a woman who accused him of a crime he doesn't want to admit to, or he might be even innocent of 50 years ago, or however many years ago, 30 years ago, 20 years, whatever it is. There was no way to prove this thing. It's just whether you like him or not. So they had these rigged juries, rigged courtrooms, and like they said, you can indict a ham sandwich, and apparently you can get the right kind of jury to convict a ham sandwich as well. It happens to black people all the time, and it happens to people who are poor all the time. So, and so if they can destroy a person using the justice system the way they have, I think we all should be afraid. Now, I got a couple of clips that I want to play with some people articulating in their own way. So there's some people, I don't know if they're famous, and I don't particularly like them. I like Megan Kelly. I like her because some of her takes okay, but I don't know if I politically align with all the shit that she says, but I'm not opposed to everything she says. And the other guy I kind of despise or don't like at all really is Alan Dershowitz because of some of his positions. But even he can be correct every so often when he applies the law with some kind of sense. And he talks about this case as well. And I want to just put a couple of clips out there. But before I go with that, like, share, and subscribe. Comment. What's your opinion? Right? Because do you really feel a Kraken's release? Do you think that the Democrats are never going to be out of power? What's going to happen when the Republicans regain the House or the Senate or the presidency? Don't you think that they're going to use the same DOJ? Let me even stop that stupidity. When you mention the DOJ or judges now, they call them Republican judges or they call them Democrat judges. A judge is not supposed to have any of those adjectives, any of those labels. They're supposed to, you can say conservative, right? Right, a conservative judge who sticks or who tries to adhere closely to the written word. And then you might have a liberal judge who might have a broader interpretation of what the law means and what it stands for. I think that's fair. But to align a judge to a political party, either way, is we should be really frightened about that. Not because we hate Donald Trump, right? It's because it reeks to the fact that our republic is falling apart from the inside out. That's what that means. I mean, if you cheering because Donald Trump got convicted on 34 fucking counts that should just be like misdemeanors. Listen, almost every man I know who cheats, who if he cheat on his wife, he's gonna lie about it. He's gonna try to find a way for it not to get out. Do you know that paying somebody hush money is not a crime? Right? So they had to ring up something that because he wrote the hush money on the wrong check with the bad letterhead. Right? I don't know how many checks he signs. Right? He doesn't even care, right? Because he signed enough money over where somebody was stealing money from him and he didn't even know it. Right, Michael? So he's probably just saying, okay, what I gotta sign. He's trusting people. So he might have paid her with money that came through the campaign or it came through some other source other than his own personal bank account. I mean, this is something that you don't spend millions of dollars to convict somebody over. It's just horseshit. Even the trial with Lejetta James, whatever her fucking name is, right? That trial was bullshit because it violates the Eighth Amendment of cruel and unusual punishment when there's no victims. And the so-called victims that they try to get justice for said they weren't in any kind of hardship. You know why? Because when they assess whether they want to loan money to somebody, their actuaries, their people do that assessment better than anybody from the government. I can guarantee you that. So if they gave them the money, they knew full well that these values might be a little overpriced or whatever. They didn't care as long as they got their money back. And you don't award somebody $500 million in damages for that. So New York has just discredited themselves, and it's going to hurt in the long run. It's not going to just hurt them because you got Donald Trump. It's just going to hurt for the retaliation, for all the stuff that's going to come after it. It's just absolutely absurd. And I think our republic took a big step backwards when just coming after a guy because you hate him and using the defense, the Department of Defense, the justice system in any way to destroy your political opponents is a huge mistake. And that Kraken, and once the Kraken is released, he's not on nobody's side. The Kraken doesn't take sides. The Kraken doesn't take sides. Once he's released, everybody's subject to his wrath. Everybody. So let me just go ahead and play a couple of these clips. Maybe I don't even need to, but I want to. What the hell, man? I said I was going to do it, so I'm going to do it right now. I don't know about you people, but this is really a big fucking mistake that our political system has just gone through. And right now, the Democrats are on the wrong side. I understand you don't want Trump to be president. I can dig that. But at any cost? At any cost? Are we going to do this shit at any cost? Right? I know the stakes are high, but we already had 4 years of Trump, and we're still here. You know what I'm saying? And we have 4 years of Biden, and people are hurting more than ever. Comparing contrast. People are divided more than ever. Compare and contrast. And for Black people, I don't understand this crazy obsession with Biden, whose history is clear on how much he has disdain for Black people. It's clear. It's don't case. Oh yeah, Trump didn't let me rent an apartment 20 years ago. You can't equate that to somebody being officers sending families to jail. What the? I don't know what's the matter with you people, man. I really don't. That doesn't mean you have to vote for Trump. But this whole lesser of two evils thing, they're both still evil. So that's even a wrong kind of thing. You know what? The hell with the clips. I'm not going to play them. This is just my own appeal. I don't understand how we can't see it. And we're starting to see it. And usually only looking at black men because I really don't think black women care about anything other than the fact that they are perpetual victims about something or the other, right? And but there's more black women starting to say, wait a minute, wait a second. We voted for you guys for the color of your skin. We voted for how you made me feel, and all this horse shit. And now they can't feed their families either. The lives in complete disarray because they're alone, uncovered, strong and independent, so to speak, but still need the government to bail them out. Black men, the Democrats have done nothing for us for years. For years. For any appreciable memory, I can't think of one thing the Democrats have done for black men. Nothing. Right? They signed the Civil Rights Bill. By the way, that was the Republicans who busted a Democrat filibuster to do it. By the way. Then they had affirmative action, which was your one reparation program that lasted until the white women took it over. And that's more than a decade ago. So affirmative action, DEI, all of that shit is just for white women. And then black women. Black men, you're not even on that goddamn list or somewhere on the bottom. We have a chance to make a difference. Don't vote Democrat. Don't let that party fail. Break that stronghold on black minds. Break it. And let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Anyway, we have an opportunity to change the American system by breaking the backs of the stronghold of the Democratic Party have on the black people. And the key to doing that is to make sure that they lose every swing state this election coming up in November. And I know people say, don't exercising the right to vote for somebody other than Donald Trump is like no vote. That's bullshit. Whatever your right is to vote, that's your right. Whether you vote for Cornel West or whether you vote for somebody else or whether you don't vote for president at all, but checked off some other boxes, that's your right. Whether you stay home, that's your right. Because if you have a fundamental disbelief on not voting for the lesser of two evils, that's your right too. That's your right too. So we got to break this stronghold. We got to get the percentages up. Listen, I don't care if it's majority, but if we get the black male vote down to maybe 60% for Democrats or less, preferably less, but we don't even need to get it there, but let's shoot for 60%. 40% vote other ways. Don't vote independent, vote Republican, vote anything except Democrat. It's up to you to make a change, to change our future by breaking that stronghold, man, at the federal level. And then we come after the local level. Look at your inner cities, especially in the blue states, where they have no law whatsoever anymore. Right? Criminals are running rampant. And, they gave any taxpayer money you have, they're giving it to illegal immigrants. They have policies that go against every religious doctrine if you're a faithful person. So let me tell you, man, you got an opportunity in November to change the world. And I think we should try to do it. I think we should do it. Let's see what happens on the other side. You lived through 4 years of Trump. And this is just an example because he might be the presumptive guy they're running against. What happened to you? What happened to your bank account? What happened to, did it go up or down? Were we in a perpetual war, right? Or listen, on the genocide thing, neither party's good. They're both pro-genocide, right? So we can't say anything about that because we see that happening around us and they're sending more and more money to perpetuate it. So that one, pick your poison, Democrat or Republican. They're both beholden to the people they're beholden to, and they're gonna just fold like cheap suits. There's no moral standing on that. So I don't know what you do. I don't know what to do about that. You have to figure that out. But again, it's still the lesser of two evils. I mean, at some point, voting for evil is not a good thing. Anyhow, listen, that's just my rant. I think they've released the Kraken. I think the genie's out of the bottle. The toothpaste is out of the tube. I don't think that we could ever put it back. When the Republicans get in power, they're going to find the first crooked Democrat. They're going to indict him, and they're going to try to put him in jail. For any old reason. We're going to hear Hunter Biden all the way through the next thing. You put a Republican, he's going to go to jail. And then we're gonna keep perpetuating this tit for tat, using the DOJ, using the Department of Justice, using the state justice system to destroy our political enemies because the Democrats open that door and let that genie out of the bottle. They released the Kraken. And the Kraken takes no sides once he's released. I mean, we took a major blow. This New York has really ripped the scab off a festering wound in all cases when it comes to Donald Trump. And, the political machine is gloating over it. They gloated before it and they gloated after it. And then, you know what? He can still run for president. And he is going to retaliate if he wins. So woe is to you guys, for sure. But he's going to retaliate. He's going to come after you guys with a vengeance. With a vengeance. Our pain, marriage, politics, unfortunately, for this one, politics and sports. Over and out.